you can count on us. This is 7 News Good Morning Fort Sill.
Good morning, everybody. Thanks for joining us as we bring you another round of military news.
That's right. We've got news from Fort Sill and Altus Air Force Base on tap, as well as the latest national and international news that pertains to the military in some way, shape, or form.
But first, let's see what we can expect from the weather on this Wednesday morning. Meteorologist Ulysses Garcia is here to break it all down. Ulysses.
Hey Dan, hey Kyle. When it comes to today though, we're actually going to continue with this heat, but there is some good news on the way though when it comes to those temperatures. We're actually going to start seeing a cool down here as we make our way towards the weekend. 102 was yesterday's high temperature, low temperature 72 degrees. So right on average for the low, just above the norm slightly for that high temperature. Looking at right now though, things are quiet here in our Ashley Home Store, Tower Cam and Burke Burnett. We're just mainly dealing with clear skies right now. And looking at your Fort Sill forecast for your morning PT, you can see here 75 degrees right now, clear skies, calm winds, 2 degrees cooler than when we were this time yesterday. Sunrise taking place at 6:43 a.m. And for that morning PT forecast here, temperatures dropping down to the lower 70s by 7 a.m. But we'll quickly start warming things up already by 9 a.m. And looking at your day plan a little bit further, we'll make our way once again into the triple digits, but we'll start saying goodbye to the triple digits here across Texoma starting tomorrow. Well, we'll talk about why and how long that will last coming up.
President Trump has announced he is reducing the deadline for Russian leaders to reach a ceasefire with Ukraine. Now, originally, the president had given the Kremlin 50 days to solve the conflict.
However, after Russian forces attacked targets across Ukraine over the weekend, the president has chopped that time down to just 10 days. President Trump also hinted at other possible retaliatory measures if Russia fails to meet that deadline.
10 days from today. And then, we're going to put on tariffs and stuff, and I don't know if it's going to affect Russia, because he wants to obviously probably keep the war going.
Well, last week, Fort Sill hosted its annual Drill Sergeant of the Year competition to see who is the best of the best.
That's right. 6 drill sergeants from across the training brigades on Fort Sill went head-to-head in a multi-day competition. Here's the recap from that action.
The 2025 Fire Center of Excellence in Fort Sill Drill Sergeant of the Year competition consisted of 5 days of events that tested the knowledge, skills, and physical fitness of the non-commissioned officers who train our nation's newest soldiers. The first day consisted of an essay submission, interviews, and in-briefs, but quickly transitioned into events to test their mental and physical abilities. These events included a multi-phased Drill Sergeant of the Year fitness test that challenged both the mind and the body. They took to multiple obstacle courses and executed a marksmanship evaluation to include a stress shoot. They navigated the rugged terrain of Fort Sill in a day and night land navigation course, testing their ability to find their way. Multiple foot marches were incorporated into the mix. In the end, it was a challenging labyrinth of knowledge, skill, and grit, with the winner being Staff Sergeant Taylor Dietz from 434th Field Artillery Brigade.
It is an incredible honor to be named the 2025 Fort Sill and Fire Center of Excellence Drill Sergeant of the Year. I feel like I'm representing all the drill sergeants that I've worked with, and to know that I went up against some of the best drill sergeants on this installation throughout this competition, it's an incredible honor to be named the Drill Sergeant of the Year for this year.
Congratulations to Staff Sergeant Dietz for winning this year's event. Now, he will represent FCO and Fort Sill at the TRADOC Drill Sergeant of the Year competition later this year. Now, Dan, what do you remember from your drill sergeants?
Well, so I remember my senior drill sergeant. So I went to basic training last century. Yes, it was 1999. So I say that when I say last century, it's kind of crazy. But Drill Sergeant Thorpe was my senior drill sergeant, and I definitely do remember him. It was enlightening experience, let me put it that way. But our drill sergeants absolutely work tirelessly to train the new generation of soldiers. We definitely appreciate their support and their help in crafting and shaping our next generation of warfighters.
How big of a source of pride is this competition for the folks out there?
Big source of pride, huge bragging rights, right? And Drill Sergeant Dietz is going to get ready to go. I think the TRADOC competition is in September. So he'll represent EFCO and Fort Sill in that higher headquarters competition. But one thing that we're looking to highlight 434th Field Artillery Brigade, which is our basic combat training brigade located here at Fort Sill. Did an interview with Colonel Reg White. Try to air that probably next week and then highlight some more stuff that our drill sergeants in that cadre does there at 434th.
Looking forward to it. Now let's take a look at some upcoming events involving the military. A virtual career fair hosted by the Disabled American Veterans and Recruit Military is set for next week.
So it's free for veterans, their spouses, active duty military personnel, and members of the National Guard and Reserve. It will take place on Tuesday, August 5th. It will feature more than 40 employers ranging from construction to medical to administrative and logistics, with career opportunities entry level to senior management.
Resume assistance and career counseling will also be available. You can register for the job fair by going to jobs.dav.org. And Fort Sill Directorate of Emergency Services, as well as USO Oklahoma, are inviting the community to join them for National Night Out. Now, this event will be on August 5th as well, from 5 until 7:30 in the evening at the Fort Sill USO building. Event goers will be able to meet their local first responders and check out emergency vehicles and equipment. There will also be music, games, and plenty of other family-friendly activities.
Well, the Field Artillery School is getting a new Command Sergeant Major. Command Sergeant Major Paul Fluharty is relinquishing his responsibilities as the Command Sergeant Major of the United States Field Artillery School to Command Sergeant Major John Bamba. The change of responsibilities ceremony will be held tomorrow at 4 p.m. at Snow Hall on post. The community is welcome to attend. We appreciate Sergeant Major Fluharty for his dedication to the branch over the last 2 years, and welcome Command Sergeant Major Bamba. He is no stranger to Fort Sill, though, as he spent the last 2 years as the Command Sergeant Major of the 75th Field Artillery Brigade.
The Oklahoma National Guard is now taking applications for their Educational Assistance Program for the fall 2025 semester. Now, to qualify for the program, you must be actively serving in the Oklahoma National Guard, have at least 1 year remaining on your enlistment, and maintain a 2.0 GPA if you're an undergrad or a 3.0 if you're in a graduate program. Deadline to apply for the program is August 31st. For more information, you can visit the Oklahoma National Guard's Facebook page. Airmen with the 97th Air Mobility Wing at Altus Air Force Base completed a training exercise earlier this month with the crews from the 5th Bomb Wing at Minot Air Force Base.
So this is kind of cool. So crews flew a KC-135 Stratotanker to Minot to train in mid-air refueling exercises with B-52 Stratofortress bombers. Crews from both squadrons completed several training flights and focused on aircraft commander qualification. Spouses
from the 5th Bomb Wing also got a chance to see what it's like to refuel another aircraft 35,000 feet in the air. Altus Air Force Base leaders say the mission showed the strength of working together across bases. The University of Oklahoma has been awarded an $8 million contract from the Department of Defense. When Good Morning Fort Sill returns, we will go over the latest news and notes from the DoD and from Washington.
Support our hometowns. When you choose to shop local with businesses, we all benefit because your money stays here. Not only are you supporting local businesses, but also helping those who serve the community and keep us safe. Keeping your money local is helping families right here in Southwest Oklahoma and North Texas. Support Our Hometowns is sponsored by John Holt Auto Group.
And you can see that area rotation right in here. It's the easiest way to stay one step ahead of summer storms.
Working for you every night at 10. The KSWO 7 News app. Here's your first alert forecast with meteorologist Ulysses Garcia.
Welcome back, everyone. And right now, clear skies in our Jackson County Memorial Hospital Tower Cam in Altus. And overall, though, we're going to be in for a good amount of sunshine today. But really, when it comes to the triple-digit temperatures, also today will be the last day. We're going to start seeing a cool down taking place by the time we make our way into your Thursday. Temperatures, if you're stepping out right now, 75 degrees in Lawton, 77 in Frederick, 76 over towards Vernon, 75 in Graham. Looking over at your heat alerts here for today, we do have an expansion of those heat advisories. So pretty much our eastern and southeastern communities here between noon to 8 p.m. heat indices up to 110 degrees. Looking at the setup here as we look at your current conditions, though, we do have a frontal system that's gradually making its way through parts of the Rockies and through parts of the Midwest, especially further off towards the northern and central plains. That will gradually segue its way down towards the south here as we make our way through the next 24 hours. And looking at future track here as we go throughout this afternoon, lots of sunshine. Clouds begin to gradually trickle in as we make our way into tonight. Going into tomorrow, we'll start dealing with the influence of that cold front. Can't rule out a shower here and there across the area as we go throughout your Thursday, and about 20% chance. And even going into your Friday, we'll continue with that 20% chance. For today, up to 103 degrees, mostly sunny and hot. Southwest to south wind at 5 to 10. By the time we go into tonight, we'll drop down to right around 74 degrees, clear sky, mostly clear skies and warm. And looking over the next 7 days here, notice a drop off in those temperatures. 91 by the time we get towards Friday. Will warm things up by early next week.
University of Oklahoma has been awarded an $8.8 million cost reimbursement contract by the Air Force for sustainment and modernization research and development.
So this is pretty cool. So the Department of Defense announced that news this week. The contract is to help with operationalizing additive manufacturing, which is basically 3D printing, and the development and research on advanced manufacturing techniques to help modernize Air Force logistics and maintenance operations. That work will be performed in Norman. It is expected to be completed by October 15th of 2028. And a bill to combat scams that target veterans has been introduced in the U.S. Senate.
Texas Senator John Cornyn was part of a group that introduced the Veterans Scam and Fraud Evasion, or VSAFE Act. The bill would establish a Veterans Scam and Fraud Evasion officer at the U.S. Department of Veterans Affairs to assist with fraud and scam prevention, reporting, and incident response plans. According to a report from the Federal Trade Commission, American veterans and military retirees reported $350 million in total total fraud losses in 2023. The VA currently has resources, including a hotline and website, to help prevent veteran fraud and scams. But this bill would provide greater communication within the VA and to victims, as well as enhance interagency coordination to identify, mitigate, and respond to scams. On this day 80 years ago, the USS Indianapolis was sunk by a Japanese submarine, resulting in the deaths of 880 sailors and Marines. It's the Navy's worst disaster at sea. In July of 1945, the USS Indianapolis delivered part of an atomic bomb that would be dropped on Japan. 2 weeks later, as the ship was on its way to the Philippines, it was struck by 2 torpedoes launched from a Japanese sub. The ship sank within minutes. Only 316 survived. The last survivor was pulled from the water on August 3rd, 1945. An expedition crew discovered the Indianapolis on August of 2017, 5,500 meters below the surface. At least 2 books and 2 movies were made about the ship. A new USS Indianapolis was commissioned in 2019. A trial date has been set for the soldier accused of murdering a fellow service member at Fort Leonard Wood. We'll have the latest details in this case after the break.
Are you looking for local specialized products and services and you don't know where to start? Check out Expert Connections on KSWO.com to find local experts that you know and trust. Here you'll find skilled experts in their field that can assist you. To find Expert Connections, visit KSWO.com. At the top of the page, click the Expert Connections tab to see the local experts who are ready to help you. You can also check out the Expert Connections tab on the 7 News app. Expert Connections, your link to Texoma's best.
Support our hometowns. When you choose to shop local with businesses, we all benefit because your money stays here. Not only are you supporting local businesses, but also helping those who serve the community and keep us safe. Keeping your money local is helping families right here in Southwest Oklahoma and North Texas. Support Our Hometowns is sponsored by Apache Casino Hotel. Support Our Hometowns. When you choose to shop local with businesses, we all benefit because your money stays here. Not only are you supporting local businesses, but also helping those who serve the community and keep us safe. Keeping your money local is helping families right here in Southwest Oklahoma and North Texas. Support Our Hometowns is sponsored by Nissan of Lawton. Support Our Hometowns. When you choose to shop local with businesses, we all benefit because your money stays here. Not only are you supporting local businesses, but also helping those who serve the community and keep us safe. Keeping your money local is helping families right here in Southwest Oklahoma and North Texas. Support Our Hometowns is sponsored by Southwest Honda.
Over 950 customers are without power this morning.
I'm here with the commanding general of the Fire Center of Excellence.
Here's some thunder on my way in to work this morning.
We should start to clear out as we head towards the rest of the day.
Keeping you updated as you get ready for your day.
7 News Good Morning Texoma, 5 to 7 a.m.
And you can see that area rotation right in here. It's the easiest way to stay one step ahead of summer storms.
The Minnesota National Guard's cybersecurity forces were called in to assist after hackers were able to infiltrate the city of St. Paul's cybersecurity protection systems network.
To contain the threat, they restricted access to some internal systems on Monday and did a full network shutdown. A majority of the city's services are still unavailable, including public Wi-Fi and online payments. Officials are investigating what systems were accessed and what data, if any, may have been stolen.
The city of St. Paul says they've urged employees to take steps to protect their data, both professional and personal information.
We are all concerned. This has not happened. We've never experienced this before.
The FBI is currently leading the investigation into the breaches. Minnesota Governor Tim Walz issued a statement saying, quote, "Above all, we are committed to protecting the safety and security of the people of St. Paul."
A trial date has been set for a Fort Leonard Wood soldier who has been accused of killing a fellow soldier on post.
Specialist Wooster Rancy is charged with murder and obstructing justice in the death of Sergeant Sarah Roque. Her body was found in a trash bag in a dumpster near her barracks last October. Rancy and Roque served together with the 5th Engineer Battalion at the post.
Rancy's trial has been scheduled for January and is expected to last 4 days.
The U.S. Space Force is teaming up with the Air Force Rapid Capabilities Office for their 8th launch of the X-37B orbital test vehicle next month.
So this is kind of cool. So the OTV-8 will be launching from Kennedy Space Center in Florida aboard a SpaceX Falcon 9 rocket and will be completing a wide range of test and experimentation objectives in low orbit. Chief of Space Operations General Chance Saltzman stated OTV-8's laser communications demonstration will mark an important step in the U.S. Space Force's ability to leverage proliferated space networks as part of a diversified and redundant space architecture. In so doing, it will strengthen the resilience, reliability, adaptability, and data transport speeds of our satellite communications architecture. Well, members of the Civil Air Patrol in Bowling Green, Kentucky were honored this week for their accomplishments. The CAP was established in 1941 and is a nonprofit civilian auxiliary of the U.S. Air Force.
The organization works with local, state, and federal agencies to provide emergency services, aerospace education, and cadet programs. Members say the CAP provides a lot of services for anyone looking to take to the skies.
If you want to go fly an aircraft, then you can go do that in CAP. If you want to go fly a glider, helicopter, jump out of an airplane, like there's a lot of different wild stuff that Civil Air Patrol does that you don't really realize.
4 members were honored with the Gil Rob Wilson Award, the pinnacle of achievement in the Civil Air Patrol. According to the organization, fewer than 1% of the CAF's 60,000 members have ever earned that distinction.
The Mississippi National Guard is honoring those who provide spiritual guidance and support for soldiers in the U.S. Army.
Charles Harrington has a closer look at the new monument at Camp Shelby, which is commemorating the 250th anniversary of the U.S. Army Chaplain Corps.
Camp Shelby is now home to a new monument honoring a select group of service personnel who have served the spiritual needs of U.S. soldiers for 250 years. This morning, this monument was unveiled near Camp Shelby's Greer Chapel. It commemorates the 250th anniversary of the U.S. Army Chaplain Corps, which was authorized by the Continental Congress on July 29, 1775. The monument includes the chaplain's motto, Prodeo et Patria, meaning for God and country.
For 250 years, in every battle, every war that the United States has been involved in, chaplains have been there, and so we wanted to honor that day with this monument, and just as a way to honor our chaplain corps, but also to hopefully help tell our story.
We're one of the oldest branches, obviously only a month after the Army was founded, the chaplain corps was founded, but we're also probably the smallest branch in the entire Army. There are fewer of us than of any other branch.
More than 25,000 members of the clergy have served in the chaplain corps. More than 400 of those have been killed in combat. 5 have been awarded the Congressional Medal of Honor. Currently, there are more than 1,300 active duty chaplains and 1,200 reserve component chaplains serving in the U.S. Army.
Well, it's time for some good news stories. So a veteran who served in Afghanistan is using his post-Army experience to help other vets in need through the power of gardening.
U.S. Army veteran Mike Trost was shot 5 times while serving overseas, 30 surgeries, and an amputated leg later. He says his battle was just beginning. Trost says he suffers from PTSD and depression and was looking for an outlet to express his emotions. That's when he found his post-Army calling: gardening.
So Trost and his wife founded Frontline Gardens, a nonprofit committed to building custom-raised garden beds for veterans and first responders struggling with PTSD and promoting horticulture therapy. They've helped nearly 100 vets and say they have no plans on stopping anytime soon.
Well, a 109-year-old woman from Indiana celebrated a life full of public service.
Wow, this is a pretty amazing story. So Evangeline, or Vangie, Paredes comes from a storied history of civic duty. Her father served in the U.S. Navy, and that inspired Vangie to public service. She worked for 30 years in the Pentagon and retired with the highest civilian award given to federal employees, the President's Award for Distinguished Federal Service.
However, she didn't stop there. After retiring, Vangie volunteered with AARP and is an active member of the VFW Auxiliary. She says volunteering is what has kept her alive for so long.
Here's your first alert forecast with meteorologist Ulysses Garcia.
Happy Wednesday, and checking out the view right now in our Duncan Regional Hospital tower cam. We're dealing with clear skies right now. We're going to start off overall cloud-free, but as we make our way, say, by this afternoon, we could start seeing a few clouds beginning to trickle in, but still, we're going to keep things rather dry here throughout your hump day. Looking at your temperatures right now, 76 in Frederick, 75 in Lyon, 76 in Wichita Falls, 73 in Paducah, 79 over towards Jacksboro, 80 over towards Waurika. Looking at your heat alerts, we do have heat advisories mainly for our eastern and southeastern communities here, from Chickasha all the way down towards Graham, where we could have feels like temperatures up to 110 degrees from noon to 8 p.m. That will be the time period this heat advisory is in effect. Our next weather maker is pretty much off towards the north, bringing some rain and thunderstorms from pretty much Nebraska all the way through parts of Iowa, but we will start seeing that energy slide down towards the south. As we look at future track here, we're going to keep things rather tranquil for today. Few clouds here and there late in the day going into tonight. The Even tomorrow morning will start off rather quiet, but by the late afternoon into the evening, can't rule out a 10 to 20% chance of a shower or a storm. And then that's by Friday, can't rule out another 10 to 20% chance of a shower or storm across the area. Your PT forecast at Fort Sill, 75 degrees right now. As we make our way throughout your next couple of hours, we'll see our temperatures making their way into the mid to upper 70s, temperatures warming up into the low 80s.
Well, thanks for watching Good Morning Fort Sill.
We'll have more military news for you tomorrow. Good Morning Texoma is right up next.